Well, hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show. Welcome to today's program, friends. Yes, we're in the monsoons going on here, and although we have really some great features on our program today, one in particular I am really excited about is a new stock from Choate Machine Tool. We'll show you in just a few moments, but a lot of things to talk about on today's program. And someone tuning in for the first time and seeing me sitting here holding this gun say, well, why do you have a gun, Johnny? Well, it is the shooting show. That's what we do here on this program. And you know, this week I had we have a resident communist, anti-gun person that calls me occasionally on the radio show. And he had a question for me. He says, well, Johnny, you paranoid? Why do you go around armed? Well, it's because I've lived long enough to learn that it's good and healthy practice to go about armed. Years ago, when I first started traveling playing music, I didn't carry a gun. I said, I'm a big old boy. What I need? You know, I don't need a gun. And then I was almost killed in a situation that I had nothing to do with, and I had nothing to protect myself with. And so it said, you know, things happen out here. There's a reason that our founding fathers put that Second Amendment. The other reason is, you know, as free Americans, we don't have to explain why we want to be armed. We don't have to explain that. Because you know what? Our founding fathers felt like it was good policy that every man, every person who was able to be armed. We don't have to explain it. You know, there are people out there saying, well, in our modern society, what about the brutality in our modern society? And you know what, friends? Someone's life can be forever altered in a few moments. There's a reason we carry spare tires in our car. There's a reason some of us have generators at home for electricity. And let me tell you what, there's a reason that we have personally owned firearms for the citizen, not subject, for the citizens of this country. It was so important. You know, our founding fathers, they wanted to have unrestricted speech because they knew as long as people were free to speak their mind, it would be a check against tyranny. But then in the Second Amendment, they backed up the First by ensuring that the citizens would always be capable of negating or resisting a police state. That's what it's about, friends. No, we don't have to explain. In fact, it's something I think we should celebrate the 4th of July coming up. There's also going to be a firearms buying day celebration on July 9. And let me show you something. A friend of mine sent this over to me the other day. This is a picture of an evil United Nations tank. And can you see what that tank is doing? Those are literally hundreds in sight there. Maybe thousands. We don't know how long that row is or how many they've run over already. They're running over guns with an evil United Nations tank. Now, friends, this is exactly, you've seen that picture we've showed on the program before of the revolver with the barrel tied in a knot. That statue outside the evil United Nations there in New York. And this is exactly what that evil organization wants to do to our firearms here in this country. And there are those that say, well, Johnny, small arms just are no longer effective. Oh, really? Is that right? If they're no longer effective, why do our adversaries so desperately want to take them away? You know? I got a news item here. Michigan is about to get concealed carry, and it says a disgusted Oakland County official threatened to put up billboards saying, "Welcome to Dodge City." Police groups say their members will be in jeopardy from more guns in more and more locations. Well, how do they explain in those 33 states where concealed carry permits have been licenses have been enacted, how do they explain always the drop in crime? How do they explain? They can't explain that. These folks are an example, the anti-gun people are an example of don't confuse us with logic. Now, friends, this is what we're up against, and something else I'll pass on to you briefly here. We've got a lot of ground to cover on today's program. Here is the environmentalists right now are getting huge amounts of dollars. For one, the Pew Charitable Trust has become one of the largest grant makers to the environmental causes. But some of even the Sierra Club people are complaining because they're directing the politics of the environmentalists. And you see, friends, here's the problem. We as gun owners don't have access to these foundations giving us huge amounts of money. Our only recourse to fight groups like the Pew Charitable Trust, what they call themselves, and other, you know, the million commie whimpering mommies literally were swimming in money. I think a lot of those folks stole that money, but here and there. I'm glad they stole it and got it away from their whimpering commie mommy cause. But here's the problem. These folks are so well financed, they literally get truckloads of money because it furthers the globalist cause of disarmament of civilian populations. We here in this country are the last bastion of citizenry, of free and armed people that are standing in the way of the globalist aim. And some of us are going to continue to stand in the way. That's what makes these programs so important. You realize if it weren't for this shooting show, these messages that we talk about guns and things would not be on television at all. None. On any TV anywhere. Not at all. And that's why it's so important that we continue and expand our programs. You know, we're making all kinds of efforts to expand our radio programs, and friends, we're doing everything we can. And we've got some things we're working on that we think will help. We appreciate your help. If you would like to help our project stay on the air and expand, of course, our standard shooting show address, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Beverly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. We certainly appreciate our sponsors' assistance and all of you that have contributed over these years to keep us on the air. We're not going to quit. These messages must continue going out. Well, let's celebrate our heritage. Let's celebrate what this country is about, and certainly the 4th of July celebration. I will be in Johnstown, Colorado, doing shows there for the radio network. We'll be there all day on the 4th doing different things, and if some of you see this, I'm sure some of you will, and you can join us there. It's going to be a great celebration. Sheriff Mack from Gun Owners of America is going to be there. We're going to have a great time.
Stay tuned for more of The Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, this is the new Georgia Arms 20th anniversary catalog. Of course, has a memorial there to our good friend Jim Clark there on the cover. This is a terrific catalog from the finest ammunition maker in the United States. They have all kinds of great prices on all sorts of ammunition: 243 Winchester, 270s, 7.62 by 39 Russian, all kinds of great stuff. They've even got 308 tracers, 30-06 tracers, all kinds of neat stuff here in this great new Georgia Arms catalog. They have components if you want to load your own ammo, and look here, we've got the shooting show and our new 460 Rowland kit on sale as well. Georgia Arms has the best prices for custom grade ammunition that I'm aware of in the United States, and guess what else? They're helping to support our shooting show. Friends, give them a call today. Free phone call, free catalog, 1-800-624-6861, 1-800-624-6861 from Georgia Arms, and please remember to tell them that you heard it and saw it here on our program. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the Choate Machine and Tool Factory, and this young man is Hal Perazine. You've seen him on the show before. And Hal, you have something really exciting to show us, don't you, sir?
Yeah, Johnny, we have our new Mark 6 stock. Right now it's just for the Remington 870, but it carries 5 extra shells. It has tension springs that if it starts to wear, you can tighten it up or rotate the little rubber disc. It'll last you a lifetime. In fact, it's guaranteed for a lifetime. It has a shortened pad if you want to order an extra shortened pad. They will even drop the length of pull if you're wearing a vest for police departments. It doesn't have any recoil. This has recoil to it. It's a pistol grip stock, and the thing about it, Johnny, is you put it up to your shoulder, you can actually pull a shell out with your thumb and load it without ever taking the gun away from your shoulder. We have supplied several police departments. In fact, we had an order for 450 to Virginia Police Department the other day.
Amazing.
And it gives a built-in reserve shell, one of our magazine extensions, this being a 7-shot, you've got 7 and 5, and I think here in Arkansas that adds up to 12. Of course, we make up to a 10-shot extension if your barrel length, but it gives you, for home defense, you don't have to worry about grabbing any extra shells. They're all right there. And
you can have a variety of loads if you need birdshot or whatever else. That is a great idea. Now, wait a minute. It has the pistol grip, but really, this is a thumb hole stock. So this would not be subject to the government regulation around pistol grip stocks. Am I correct?
That's correct. Right now. Now, I don't know what they may say later, but right now, this class is a thumb hole stock.
And you will be offering this for some autos as well in the future, is that?
In the future, it's going to be probably for a Winchester and a Mossberg. We have been asked by some of the gun companies to perfect this for a government contract for one of the agencies.
Well, sir, it looks like a real piece of work, and these are available now.
Right now.
Friends, a great idea. There are certainly the Remington 870 is one of the most popular shotguns in history. And of course, we're well familiar with the terrific choke quality. So again, you know that number, 1-800-972-6390. This is a terrific new addition for the choke line.
John, another thing, these caps or the ends of the shells are actually recessed below the surface for protection.
For safety.
For safety.
Excellent.
Now, the fore-end is extra, but we also, you can use it with your fore-end, but we also will sell you the fore-end, even have a pistol grip fore-end also. And on a semi-automatic, that's all legal.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Great new developments.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
McCain-Feingold bill to regulate campaign financing is one of the most dangerous threats to freedom that has ever been before the U.S. Congress. One wonders what the Congress is thinking when they presume to pass any legislation dealing with speech. The First Amendment is quite clear. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. What else but an abridgment can we call a limit on how much a candidate can raise from a person or a corporation? These limits are purely political, as a study of their history will reveal. Each party comes up with campaign finance restrictions designed to impair the competitive advantage of their opponents. They're not concerned about rooting out corruption. Campaign finance laws are corruption. Rather than toss out the current unconstitutional restrictions on campaign finance, McCain-Feingold constitutes a return to the infamous Sedition Act passed during the administration of our second president, John Adams. Under the Sedition Act, newspaper editors were clapped in jail for criticizing federal officials. The act was so odious that it led to Adams being a one-term president. The Sedition Act was taken off the books under Jefferson, and the prisoners were set free. Under McCain-Feingold, it will once again be illegal to criticize federal officials, namely those incumbent members of Congress and of the presidency who are running for re-election. Specifically, a ban on mentioning their names by groups such as Gun Owners of America will go into effect 60 days before an election. 60 days is chosen for a purpose. It's from there on to the election that most voters begin to look for information about the candidates. McCain-Feingold makes sure that there will be only two sources for that information: incumbents and the media. The media is specifically exempted from the restrictions of McCain-Feingold, which are aimed directly at groups such as GOA. McCain-Feingold is intended to restrict voters' knowledge of elections to what the media chooses to tell them. And if the incumbents are politically correct, as defined by the media, then the media will describe them as courageous statesmen striving for the good of humanity. If not, the incumbent risks being smeared, or perhaps even worse, ignored. If you oppose the assault on freedom embodied in so-called campaign finance reform, you need to contact your representative in the U.S. House of Representatives. That is where the bill currently is awaiting action. You had better speak now or forever hold your peace. From Washington, this is Larry Pratt for Gun Owners of America.
Remember, friends, Gun Owners of America is doing a great job fighting for the firearms rights we have and fighting to get back the ones we've lost. You can call them to join, 888-886-GUNS, 888-886-4867, or find them on the internet at gunowners.org. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're out here today at the Clark Custom Gun Range. Of course, this is Jim Clark Jr., who you've seen many times on our program, and you'll notice the gun he's holding here is the Mossberg Jungle Gun, of course fitted with our 7-round extension that we got from Choate Machine and Tool. And Jim, what are your initial impressions on the Jungle Gun?
Well, so far it looks real good. Of course, the main thing for what I would consider a defensive type gun is the functionality, and the gun's functioning very well. So right off the bat, I like it.
Well, do you think it'll do any good? Of course, you do a lot of aerial shooting, and of course you're known as, you've been several time 3-gun world champion, in fact. And, so we thought Jim Jr. would be an awfully good candidate to take a look at the Jungle Gun because we had so much interest from last week's program. I'll tell you what, Jim, this kind of set our troops on fire.
Good deal. Another thing I do like about it is the feature that some of the other guns we use in combat competition is I like what the safety is, of course, on the Mossberg. To me, this is just much faster if you start on a course where you have to start with the safety on, or in a practical situation where you've got the safety on. Right. This is much faster than a finger-mounted safety.
And we're talking, of course, the safety is mounted back here on top of the gun, and it's equally good for a left-handed or right-handed shooter.
Absolutely.
And the way the gun throws empties out in a way, I don't think it'd be difficult for a left-handed shooter to use.
No.
So I tell you what, friends, we're going to get Jim to do a little shooting. And I don't think that this was DEA's idea, an aerial gun. They got these things to use in the jungle down there, and their exercises they do in Central and South America. But it looks pretty good so far, huh, Jim?
Absolutely. Really like it.
Well, what does Mossberg need to do at this point to make it into a competition gun? One, it's reliable. Two, it functions very fast.
Yes.
And we got it down to, it'll run consistently 1500s between shots. Now, you'll take a master like Jim Jr. or his brother-in-law, Jerry Michelik, and they can actually pull the trigger on most semi-automatic shotguns actually faster than the gun will run. But You think 1500s would be plenty fast enough for a competition gun?
Oh, absolutely. I've never seen a course of fire where you could index the targets any faster than 1500ths of a second. So
that really
even if they're close together, yeah.
So if it can be done with a semi-automatic, we're thinking this Mossberg.
Absolutely.
Now, what about the button on the side loading?
That would be the only drawback as far as a competition gun now. As far as a defensive weapon, it's fine. For a competition gun, say 1187, where the follower is loose and you can load it with sticks, it would be a little more difficult with this one because you would have to hold the button in to load it with sticks. Other than that, no problem.
And in the normal world, that would not be a condition.
In the normal world, you're going to be hard-pressed to be loading with those sticks.
Well, heck, Jim, let's do a little shooting with the gun.
Okay.
See what it looks like. Now, Jim, you're actually going to be shooting. This is an experiment out here today, friends. We really don't know how this is going to turn out, but you're shooting a heavy trap load, right?
Yeah, it's actually just what I had loaded, and it seems to function the gun well, so we're just going to try it with this heavy trap, which of course is an ounce and an eighth 3-dram load.
And friends, the gun is, even in the manual, it says just high performance loads such as buckshot and slugs, but we've had good success in the initial trials with the heavy trap load. So let's just see how the gun performs and some of the things Jim's going to do.
Got a 2-for-1 there, that don't count.
Now, Jim, what kind of stance? We all know positioning is very important with most guns, but what do you face in competition?
Well, of course, what they'll throw at us in combat competition, you don't ever know. You could be shooting through low ports, which would you'd actually have to turn the gun almost sideways or upside down, depending on your flexibility. You might be laying on your back, on your knees. You know, there's just no way to know because you never know what the course of fire is before you get there.
What do you look for in a shotgun stock or the way one feels or handles? What do you look for?
Normally doing drills like this where I can shoot the birds, where I can throw the gun up and I don't have to move it after I shoulder it. If it comes up nice and smooth and I'm looking down the barrel ahead of time. Of course, shooting aerial targets, I'm not actually looking down the barrel and watching the bird.
What about how do you like ghost ring sights on a shotgun versus even a simple bead like that?
I'm not a favor of ghost ring sights at all. Possibly if I was shooting some slugs, but not really even then. Just not a favor of them. So
you're saying that with practice you can deal with whatever sights your gun has on it, is that right?
With the shotgun, yes. And if it, like say again, if it fits you right, I'm not actually looking down the barrel to shoot these birds. And I'm not actually looking down the barrel a lot of times when I'm running an assault course. The gun fits me, I'm watching the target, and the gun just comes up between my sight and the target, my eye and the target.
Well, now, of course, we have a standard stock on this gun. How do you like pistol grip stocks? Like some of the Benellis, some folks have the pistol grip stock. What do you think?
I'm not really a favor of that at all. The only thing I could see that a pistol grip stock would be good for is if you were doing entries to where you could hold the gun and possibly push a door. You might be able to hold the gun a little better one-handed with a pistol grip stock. Other than that, I see no use for them.
My friend Jim has loaded our jungle gun here with some tactical buckshot, and we're going to watch his form and function of the gun. Just going to let a few rounds go.
That's low recoil buckshot, and even though in the manual it says use high speed only, it seems to run the low speed quite well.
And Jim, just looking, we could put a timer on that, I suppose, but it sounded like that was pretty darn fast cycling there.
Yeah, the gun seems to run plenty fast enough to shoot anything I'd want to shoot with it.
Well, Jim, I tell you what, I appreciate you taking time out to assist us a little bit today. I'm glad you're impressed with the gun because all of us certainly are.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm always interested in another gas-operated shotgun that I can put an extended tube on because there's so few of them out there now.
Well, how do you compare this gun to, say, the only other gas gun I'm aware of that really this gun would be in competition with would be the 1187?
Sure. Well, of course, the difference being is you've got a lightweight receiver here, so there's really no way to compare them. It has a little more recoil, but the gun's lighter. So what you give up, make up on the apples or give up on the grapes or something like that.
Well, I like this because you've got a steel washer here, or steel O-ring rather than any rubber parts in the action. I would see that as an advantage.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll see what Mossberg does with it. Of course, we have a champion shooter out here handling our jungle gun today. And Jim, we appreciate it very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
Folding stocks, for pistol grips, for regular stocks, for replacement stocks, for magazine extension tubes for your shotgun, for magazine replacement springs for your shotgun. How about the executive eye scraper, the executive letter opener, all from Choate Machine and Tool when you call for a free catalog. You can get the executive letter opener, a multi-purpose tool, or the executive eye scraper, a multi-purpose tool, for only your choice, only $2 when you call for a free Choate catalog. You can get both of them for $4, a $10 value. Friends, if you're a shooter or a gun owner, you need one of the Choate Machine and Tool Company catalogs. Call them today, 1-800-972-6390 in Ball Knob, Arkansas. They're helping to support our project. You need one of their catalogs. Again, 1-800-972-6390. And please remember to tell them that you saw it here on our show.
And now for our support group, friends, we have custom leatherwork and saddlery in Denham Springs, Louisiana. We have Brooks Communication for all your communication